It's been a cool 2 months since Titan fell into our living rooms, and we've all been dropping terrible Titan puns ever since. You guys do that too, right? Okay, cool. Now, the Expedition DLC offers 3 new maps to add to the 15 original, and our first impressions are that, hey, they're pretty great. They each feel fresh, distinct, and rife with opportunity for that most enjoyable of Titanfall endeavors, finding new ways to creatively clamber your way into a position to destroy your enemies. Let's start with Swampland. Make all the Star Wars references you like, they are totally warranted. Although there are no log traps you can use to compact a Titan, you can still scramble through these tall trees as you traverse the area between the modern outpost and the ancient ruins. Be sure you're rocking the enhanced parkour kit, though, because some of those jumps are longer than they look. Zip lines and fallen tree ramps help you ascend to the canopy or rocket down into the enemy base for a hardpoint capture, so defenders should keep a keen eye on these points of ingress. And remember, even if you're not all the way up high, using the trees for quick wall run speed bursts can lead to some very fast flag captures. But as fun as it can be to get arboreal as a pilot, some of the most intense tree fights are in Titans. Huge trunks and low temples provide big cover, but you can both deliver and dodge serious damage by dancing among the trees, to the extent that a hulking 2-story death machine can actually dance. The trees may seem like the perfect escape route for a Titan fleeing with a flag, but alas, that is no longer possible. The ability to carry a flag in a Titan has been patched out of the game, regardless of whether or not you buy the DLC, so you're gonna have to hoof it or learn it the hard way. Now let's leave all this yucky, allergenic nature behind and get real industrial with it. The Runoff map is set in some kind of sewage factory processing plant thingy, which means a lot of right angles and a lot of elevated pipework for pilots to scurry along. It's a bit reminiscent of the Demeter map, but instead of roads surrounding a dominant central structure, Runoff offers narrower routes at multiple elevations. Maintaining the height advantage in a Titan often means you'll get a better shot at your target's weak spots once their shields go down, but don't underestimate the power of being sneaky. Taking pot shots from lower levels or from behind cover can be very effective in a map like this that has an abundance of fairly narrow sightlines. Don't forget, you can duck while in your Titan to get a little more cover, which can make a big difference here on Runoff. And pilots, work those windows. Spending time on the exterior of these buildings makes you a prime target for Titans and pilots alike, even if those pilots aren't, like, you know, the sharpest of shooters.
Oh my god, who took this footage, you guys? Oh, it's so embarrassing. Could you please just hit that pilot? Oh, jeez. I'm blind. Terrible. Terrible.
Okay, finally, we've got War Games, a map that really only exists inside your mind. Or, like, inside of this VR pod that probably smells like fear sweat and onions. Shoot an enemy soldier on this map, and she won't crumble into a horrible, lifeless husk. She'll just evaporate into magical Tron squares. Video game violence isn't really violent at all! Lol, JK, it totally is. Ostensibly developed with chunks of other maps, War Games nonetheless feels like its own beast, with the rough, realistic buildings on either end of the map linked by gleaming structures and neon highlights. There are some very clear wall-running corridors for pilots, worth arc mining perhaps, and some very segregated cross-map paths for Titans, which are worth arc mining, perhaps. This can make capture the flag matches very brisk indeed, while Last Titan Standing rounds tend to end up on one end or the other, with everyone duking it out except that one dude who is still on a flanking run. The long Titan runs means you can find some pretty lengthy sightlines, but the abundant wall running space makes this one of the more rodeo-friendly maps around. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. The 3 maps in the Expedition DLC will run you $9.99, or you can bet on the next 2 DLC packs being good, buy Season Pass for $24.99, and save $5. There's also a pretty hefty patch that makes a bunch of small fixes and a few tactical ones, including the aforementioned No Flags in Titans rule. It also lets you name your custom loadouts and gives you 2 bonus loadouts per match type. There are more custom match settings, dome shields offer better defense, and there are some tweaks to normal and nuclear ejection explosions. You should probably just read the full notes online, but I have personally reached my daily quota for reading, and so now we'll go play more Titanfall after ending this video with a sweet spin kick. Hi-ya!
Off the connection. Get closer to that terminal.
The Titans, they're falling. Oh, how they're falling, the Titans.